Welcome to the Imperial Newsstand. I'm Alan Imperial, and today we're going to be talking about insider trading by senators of the United States of America. So, four senators are accused of insider trading, and Jack Kelly of Forbes has a great article called "Senators Accused of Insider Trading, Dumping Stocks After Coronavirus Briefing." So, let's talk about each of the four senators. Here we have Senator Richard Burr, Republican from North Carolina. He's accused he's accused of making anywhere between $628,033 to $1,720,000 off of stocks he sold earlier this year. And he has a statement. I rely solely on public news reports to guide my decision regarding the sale of stocks on February 13th. Specifically, I closely followed CNBC's daily health and science reporting out of its Asia bureaus at the time. Understanding the assumptions many could make in hindsight, however, I spoke this morning with the chairman of the Senate Ethics Committee and asked him to open a complete review of the matter with full transparency. So he says that he did this because he knew something was happening on February 13th. Well, here is some audio of him.
There's one thing that I can tell you about this. It is much more aggressive in its transmission than anything that we have seen in recent history. It's probably more akin to the 1918 pandemic.
What you just heard is the recording of North Carolina Senator Richard Burr talking about COVID-19 and its effects to members of the Tar Heel Circle. NPR broke the story today and released portions of the recording to CBS 17. Now, on the tape.
So, on the tape, he's warning people about how dangerous in private COVID-19 is. And yet, I looked, there was not a public interview anywhere between February 13th and March 5th talking about what Senator Richard Burr thought of COVID-19. But he made damn near $2 million off of this. Unbelievable. Then we have Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler, and she sold stock and made around 1.257 million to 3.1 million dollars. Now, her husband is Jeffrey Sprecher, the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange. You don't think that you don't think that this was a clean trade? Let's see what people thought of Senator Loeffler, and this is an interview from WABE on March 9th with Emma Hurt, and I just want to give a shout out to Emma because wow, what a question. This is how they end the interview. One of the attacks you've been getting is that you're super swampy, even though you just started in politics, because of the support you've gotten from Washington, D.C., establishment figures, and the groups like Senator Mitch McConnell and the National Republican Senatorial Committee. Wow. Now, they're saying that she's new to politics. How did this happen? Well, that's because Loeffler, 49, is a wealthy businesswoman and a political newcomer who filed a vacant Senate seat in January after being appointed by Georgia's governor. And this is written on February 27th. Here is an article where they interview her, and she doesn't talk a lick about COVID 19. you've had interviews about what's important for the American people, and yet you thought it was okay to sell shares. Unbelievable. Now, the next person to be accused of insider trading is Dianne Feinstein. Uh, she's the Democratic senior senator from California, who's a ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Sold stock owned by herself and her husband, valued at $1.5 million to $6 million between January 31st through February 18th. Now, here's an article by Politico, and it's basically saying what are the senators' focus during the coming session. And what's Dianne Feinstein's uh, focus? It's predicted an extension of the FISA provisions and robust spending package combating combating the coronavirus. So here's somebody who actually was trying to help the American people while at the same time helping themselves. And lastly, we have Oklahoma Republican Senator Jim Inhofe sold stocks on January 27th that amounted to about $400,000, according to his disclosure report. So let's see what Inhofe said between January 27th and today.
Okay, well, we are in a world that's different than we've had before. We are in the most endangered position as a nation that we've ever been in. I remember the good old days of the Cold War when we had two superpowers and we knew what they had, they knew what we had. Mutual assured destruction meant something. It didn't mean anything anymore. Because you can have a North Korea or an Iran that have the capability of uh, taking out half of our country. I mean, that's a different environment that's ever been before. And so,
So, in an interview during his reelection um, campaign kickoff, he's asked what is the most important thing that his constituents have to know for reelection, and he talks about the bomb, not about COVID-19. I watched the whole interview. It's not there. Let's see what he has to say on February 4th, right before, excuse me, the State of the Union.
but on the economy, my gosh, we just 3 days ago we went through 3.5% unemployment. That's full employment, and it's the lowest it's been in my lifetime. Uh, I hope that he talks about the energy. Right now, we're making a great contribution in Oklahoma to the fact that we're the biggest exporter of oil and gas. The military is the main thing for me because I chair that committee, as right. You mentioned. And we saw a real downturn during the years of Obama, where he actually reduced the defense spending by 25%. Now he's got to talk about that. Now we're just getting.
So, have to talk about the military, have to talk about energy, have to talk about low unemployment, but nothing about COVID 19. Here's a clip I found on C SPAN on February 2nd. Now, if you can't tell, that's Senator Inhofe right there at this committee, and let's see what they have to say.
I want to talk about the biggest and the most important story in the world, the Wuhan coronavirus. This coronavirus is a catastrophe on the scale of Chernobyl for China, but actually it's probably worse than Chernobyl, which was localized in its effect. The coronavirus could result in a global pandemic.
This is Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas speaking on February 2nd, saying, predicting, as it were, the coronavirus will be a global pandemic. And Inhofe knew. Now, on February 25th, he goes over, this is a political again, he goes over his plans for reelection, and nowhere does he talk about COVID 19. Nowhere here does he talk about it at all. Uh, this guy right here does not, did not warn us, even though he knew. Now, all four of these senators talk about whether it's Inhofe, Feinstein, Loeffler, or Burr, all of them say that they had blind trust and they did not control their trading finances. I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. I don't believe them. I think they all knew the catastrophe that was coming and they didn't warn us. I'm Alan Imperial, signing out.